Hey, good morning, everybody. Got a little bit of a late start here. I apologize. Actually slept in today. I didn't have my alarm set, and I slept straight through till about 7. But to be honest, I did get to bed for probably about 1:30. So I guess that's not too bad, right? 5.5 hours. I try to get in between that money zone of 5 and 6 hours. A couple of things that I wanted to say to all of you guys. Anybody who is involved with anything that we have going on, you need to know the tactics of the left. As we all know, they will incessantly and constantly try to get everybody around you to question who you are, to question what it is that you do, and to question what it is that you're doing. They'll bring in all different kinds of information into the fray. Outright lies, things that can't be substantiated. They will attack you, and they have attacked. That is their number one tactic, guys. We know this. They will incessantly bombard something, whatever it is. And the reason they're successful, guys, when they employ this tactic is because we buy into it, right? Conservatives, good morning, Roger. Good morning, Ralph. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Barb. Good morning, everybody. The reason we buy into it is because we don't go ahead and do any of our own research. Rather than going to the person who may be accused of something and simply asking them, hey, what happened, which is the way that it should happen, we will be like, oh, hey, we heard this, so it must be true. Regardless of who the source is, even if the source is anonymous. We can't do that anymore, guys. We have to be better than that. We have to stand together for one another, no matter what. And if you hear anything about anybody, one of your friends, family members, anything that the left accuses us of, because that is their number one tactic. Smear, disinformation, redirect, project, anything that they can do to get something negative to attach to us, that's what they'll do. Because they know how their base works. For example, this, good morning, Courtney, good morning, Bill, good morning, brother, good morning, Courtney. Said that twice, sorry, Courtney. For example, let's take a look at Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump was accused incessantly over and over and over again of being a racist, of being bigoted, of being prejudiced, of being supporting white supremacists over and over and over and over again. Even though his entire history, the entire chronology of Donald Trump clearly shows he is not. He employed more people of all gender, well, two genders, men and women, more women. He ascended to roles that they would have never been put in before, including as president. He had no prejudice against people who were gay. He hired them all the time, worked with them, had contracted with them all the time. Contracted with people of all ethnicities all the time. He received awards from the black community. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, NAACP, he received awards from those organizations. Oprah Winfrey, all kinds of praise. All the rappers that were out there, all of the black entertainers, praise for Donald Trump. All ethnicities, praise to Donald Trump, everything that he did. Then, all these people, they abandoned Donald Trump. Why? Do you think that Donald Trump's history changed? It didn't. He was still that same guy. You don't get to erase history like these people love to do. Hey, we're just going to create 1619 initiative, and all of a sudden history is good. The other history is going to go away. We're going to tear down the statue, and it didn't really happen. We're going to burn this book. We're going to burn this information. We're going to silence people. We're going to silence their free speech online. This is what we're going to do. And then the history goes away. It's completely erased because people don't have minds, and they're going to forget all about it. It works and it's effective if we allow it to be effective. If we don't stand up for people, guys, if we don't stand up for everybody and support people who are wrongly and falsely accused with anything at all, whatever it is, that's on us. They know, the other side knows, because we're conservatives, because we're Republicans, because we're libertarians, we're independents, we're moderate liberals, we're moderate Democrats, they know we don't like disruption. They know that all too often, if they say something, sometimes we'll believe it. And we won't go to the source to actually ask them what happened so that we can get the legitimate story. So how many people believe that Trump was a racist? Because they just didn't bother digging in and asking the questions and seeing who represent all those those groups of people that I just talked about. But then we have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Joe Biden actually did outright racist, bigoted, prejudiced, discriminatory things. The things that he said about black people and being just as smart as white people. If Donald Trump had said that, he would be eviscerated. Shamelessly. The reason you don't ever see the media or politicians or government agencies or the FBI ever give you anything documented about Trump's so-called racism is because they have nothing. Don't you think for a second that if it was there, it would be everywhere, all over the media. It would be everywhere. So they lie. They come out and they create storylines to get us to be distracted, to get the other side to be distracted. The other side, especially, they're going to buy a hook, line, and sinker. They are not even going to bother doing any investigation at all. You know, I had an ex-girlfriend, beautiful woman, absolutely beautiful, brilliant woman, very accomplished, very smart. She works for a company locally here. She has been very prominent, actually, throughout the country, very highly regarded, and, very, very good person. And by all rights, she is the man, right? By all rights, the man. She works for an attorney's firm here locally in town, very high up in that attorney's firm. She does very well for herself. And she would believe the stories that were just spoon-fed to her from any social media source, any page, just regular individuals that were out of their minds, that were just total leftist, Marxist communists. These people are those influencers, right? She would buy it without even doing any research on her own. Now, this is a woman who, by every measure, is a conservative or a Republican. The position that she holds, the amount of money that she makes, the prominence in the community, but she doesn't use her own mind to think about any of this stuff. She believes the narrative, watches CNN, MSNBC, Spectrum News, buys it all. She is in, good morning, Dean. Good morning, Denise. Good morning, Dennis. She is in that circle. That's what she's in. She's in those very prominent, wealthy circles in the community. And she doesn't do her own research. If Trump for a second was racist, would Jesse Jackson have supported him? Would Spike Lee have supported him? Would Oprah Winfrey have had him on her show all the time? Did an hour-long expose some evening? Would that have been the case? No. But Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they have hundreds, collectively, instances where they are outright racists. The things that they said, completely discriminatory, completely bigoted, completely prejudiced. It's out there for everybody to see. But guess what? Social media buries it. Joe Biden committed a felony, a crime. Facebook is not allowing that to be shared. Hunter Biden committed a crime, a felony, several of them. And Facebook and social media, Twitter, are burying it, not allowing people to go out there. I shared a post yesterday, a black patriot who goes around everywhere he can sharing and exposing truth about what Donald Trump has done, actually done in his life and accomplished for all ethnicities, not just the black community and women. And this black patriot goes around and says what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done, what they have said. I don't remember all the specific things that you said, but if you go online and Google it, probably don't Google it. You're probably going to have to go to DuckDuckGo. Maybe not if you're going to find it on DuckDuckGo. You're going to have to go to another search engine. Good morning, Rosalind. Good morning, Carolyn. But look at what Joe Biden has done. Look at racist, bigoted comments and things that Joe Biden has done. Just recently, you ain't black unless you're voting for Joe Biden. What the hell is that? Joe Biden, the laws that he passed worked to cripple and crush our black communities, our black men, our black fathers. For years and decades, he supported the laws that crippled and crushed our black men and women, that enabled law enforcement to imprison our black men for no good reason. He wrote those laws. He supported those laws. He signed those laws. Kamala Harris did the same thing, not just to black Americans, but all Americans of lower income. She crushed them the way she operated as a DA. Go look at her history, guys. Don't sit here and believe me. Go look at her history. Go Google it. I wish I could remember the gentleman's name. I just had it. I looked at it. I'm going to find it, and I'll refer to the guy, the black patriot that goes around. He has all the truth. I was like, wow, man, this guy is educated. You know, he has educated himself and gets this information out. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, guys, I don't care what ethnicity you are, they are a nightmare. They have that. Joe Biden for 5 decades has been crippling people, and he's proud of it. He is proud of his record of standing against every ethnicity in this country. He stood up and spoke at a KKK member's funeral. That shows you what Joe Biden is about. So all of these, one thing, guys, if one of those things that a Republican or a conservative did, a liberal, a moderate Democrat, a moderate liberal, libertarian, one of those things, media, pound, right? Chris Collins just got put away for 26 months. You know why Chris Collins was put away for 26 months, guys? Not because it was insider trading in Australia, but because Chris Collins, quote unquote, lied to the investigators. That's why he's doing 26 months in prison. If you don't think the deep state is entrenched in justice, in our courts, and in law enforcement and FBI, you only need to look at Chris Collins. Ilhan Omar, campaign finance fraud, election fraud, married to her brother, immigration fraud. Just those 3 things alone, they would attack a moderate and independent Republican conservative. They would attack. But yet there she is, sitting there, nothing happening to her. Why? Why is that the case? Because, guys, we don't call on our politicians to insist that that happens. We'll sit there and believe that Chris Collins, well, maybe he did do something bad. We don't stand up for people like Chris Collins. We say, well, yeah, he must have did something wrong. Because if we hear somebody say something, we don't always, we're free thinkers, right? So we're always looking at the other angle and the other decision. Most of us on here are those free thinkers, and we take it to that next level, right? We want to do our own investigation and our own research into whatever has happened and the accusations are being made. But so many don't. And because we don't, and what we don't do is we don't know how to stand up for people like Chris Collins or against people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Ilhan Omar or Bernstein or whatever the hell her name is in California. All of those people, the money that they've made I'm drawing a blank on their names, but Nancy Pelosi is one. You guys know the names that I'm talking about. These people that have profited from being politicians at the expense of us criminally by taking money from foreign entities, foreign countries. That's proven. Taking money for giving bids and awarding bids. Taking money from their family and friends that they've awarded those bids to. Taking money from the people that they've gotten programs for their friends and their family. And then these people are worth tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. How is that? And those people are never investigated. And they're never held accountable. Because, guys, we aren't organized. Now, what I want to tell you this is we're starting to get organized. But we need people like you. Everybody that's out there. There is multi-layers of what's going on out there right now, guys. And I've talked about that. We have the marching and the rallies. We have the watchmen who are offering protection and oversight. We have, Breathe Free New York, which is a community outreach program. Watchmen New York is also a community outreach program that we have going on. Freedom Fighters is a community outreach, a rally, and election and political arm of what it is that we've got. FreeNewYorkState.com is all encompassing with medical freedoms, Second Amendment rights, education, religious freedoms. You go in information that they have there. Free New York State with Diane Thorne just happens to be the same name. What she is doing and everything that her group and her organization is doing. Constitutional Coalition with what they're doing. Nancy Orticelli and Nick Orticelli and Russ Thompson being involved at that. David DiPietro and Stefan Mihailu and other politicians that are being involved in the Constitutional Coalition that are trying to all encompass with all of the information and experience and knowledge and wisdom that they have from running campaigns and then operating once they get in office. We have people that are trying to establish committees in each one of these towns and committeemen. We're actually trying to get political candidates ascended to these offices so they're put on the bench so that we can get them run through the process. But guys, I just mentioned quite a few things, and what I just mentioned, educational, is another layer of what we're doing. In trying to enrich in education, in part homeschooling, what we're trying to do with people who are homeschooling so that we can make people's lives better who are homeschooling. Tax reform, local tax reform, overall tax reform, those are other things that we're taking on. But we need people. And a lot of times I reach out to you guys and I say, hey guys, what are your skill sets? What can you do? We need you. If there is anything that you can do, are capable or qualified, this is what we do. As Republicans, conservatives, independents, moderates, moderate liberals, we do this. Somebody else has got that. We're okay. We're not going to worry about it. What I can tell you guys is this. There's one woman. Her name is Gay Thompson. Gay Thompson is an amazing woman. Amazing woman. Gina Gentry. Amazing woman. Absolutely amazing woman. The heart and passion that she puts into everything is amazing. Joe Probilski. Amazing guy. Amazing guy. Those three individuals, guys. Those three. So, Frank Smearzak and Mertzlofs and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they're these people that are running for political office. They have some people that are working for them. But those three people that I just mentioned, including some others that come out, Jen comes out and she helps, and Starla comes out and she helps, other Jen comes out and she helps, Mary comes out and she helps, and, we do the rally. Bill Northcutt comes out, Joe Palladino comes out and he does his thing. But guys, those three people that I just mentioned, they're responsible for getting out so much of the literature on the candidates that are out there. Three people. How many people are in this community, in Erie County, in each neighborhood? And they're going out and they're doing it, going door to door to door to door. Every day, going door to door. Putting these flyers and this information out. Phone calls are going to be starting, guys. Our candidates, we have 3 or 4 candidates right now in this area that have a real, viable, and legitimate shot at unseating the incumbents. 4 people, guys. Now, I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of you guys personally and individually, but you guys can save me a lot of time if you would message me, because right now, Gay and Gina and Joe, they need help. They need help distributing this information. They need help making the phone calls. Even if you can apply an hour a day, guys, that's an hour more. We're however many days away from the election, 18, 19 days away from the election at this point. Any amount of time that you can apply to this would be amazing. I helped Gay, and I went to neighborhoods here in Cheektowaga to hand out Frank's information and put them on doors. Whatever time I have available to help Joe, Gina, and Gay, which they're an amazing team. The three of them make an amazing team. Taylor Zablonsky is a part of that as well. Guys, Taylor Zablonsky, I just want to mention her because I know I mentioned Joe, and I know I mentioned Gina a lot, and I know I mentioned Gay a lot, and everything that they do are amazing. But Taylor and her son, they come out, I think it's Noah, they come out to everything. Taylor was there yesterday. Taylor's a single mom, and I always forget her boyfriend's name, but he's amazing too. He's a great guy, sweetheart. I'm so glad that Taylor met her boyfriend because they make a great team, and they make with Noah. It's just awesome. So, and I hope I got his name right. If I didn't, I apologize, Taylor. I really apologize. But guys, Taylor, she goes to almost every single rally and protest that she can. She is out there. Not only does she do that, but she is active on Restore Constitutional Freedom of New York, posting everything. She is active in Freedom Fighters. She is active in all of the, Marching Patriots. When she can get out there, she does that. She shows up. She was doing her own rallies. We were doing our own rallies with Buffalo Events Group. And she goes out there and helps politically and makes those phone calls. She's a single working mom, guys. And what we do a lot of the times is we go, somebody else has that. Somebody else is going to handle it. Guys, we got to stop doing that. For all of our years, decades, that's what we've done. We've like somebody else in politics and governance has it. Somebody else in the system has it. They got it. That's why we've gotten to the point that we've gotten. You say people were 2-1 with, in Erie County, Democrat to Republican or whatever the ratios are. In some communities, in districts, 8-1, some districts 12-1. Well, there's a reason for that, guys. The reason is there is no moderate liberal, there's independent, Republican, conservative presence. There's no plan. There's no organization. I see it. I see that there is no plan, and the reason there is no plan is because the leadership is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare here in this county. We could get those voters to come over, but we got to work hard. We have got to show people what we stand for and what we represent so that they can buy into what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And what is it that we stand for? We stand for individual freedom. We stand for the rights of our children to go to school. We stand for the rights of senior citizens and elderly to be treated properly in elderly care facilities and by the state and in their homes. We stand for homes not being taken from people when they don't pay taxes on that property. We stand for individual liberties and freedoms. We stand for lowering taxes, decreasing the size of government to responsible levels. Instead of having dozens, hundreds of people in Cheektowaga Town Hall right now, in that courtroom doing nothing. Not just Cheektowaga, every other courtroom in Erie County doing nothing. Parks departments doing nothing. Highway departments doing nothing. And then them contracting out to do the work that parks departments and highway departments are supposed to do. Assessors' offices that feel like they can weaponize themselves against the people and assess at highly inflated amounts, but then they can't even do their own assessments. They contract to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars to private companies. We just want to be left alone to live our lives so that everybody has the opportunity to pursue freedom. If Alma can operate at the levels that they do with the money that they do, every other town in this county can as well. There's no reason it can't happen. No person ever should ever have to worry about losing their home to the government, guys. Never. And the elderly are losing their homes, guys, every year by the thousands of homes that are repossessed because, and then we go, oh, well, they're just a, they're trying to escape tax. No, they can't even eat. They have to pay their tax bills, which you guys know go up and up and up and up and every day. And I'm sorry to the teachers that are out there. Guys, I'm sorry, Rosalind, if you're still watching. Any other teachers, I'm sorry about this. But guys, if parents are homeschooling, why are the districts not lowering their tax rates? Why are they increasing them? Why are they not funneling that money to the parents who are at home educating their children? Why is that not happening? The teachers are still getting paid. The administrators are still getting paid. The janitors are still getting paid. The school bus, they're still getting paid all the same amounts. Obviously, because the taxes haven't come down. They're part-time teaching. And I know the teachers, guys, there's some teachers out there that are teaching a lot and they hate the remote. But we all know that the overwhelming majority of all teachers right now that are remote and distance educating are not teaching. They're teaching for an hour or two. I know that because I'm talking to them and they're letting me know. Oh, I've got to go on, I got to be online, but I'll still be able to talk to you, or I'll still be able to do this. I got to go on another hour in the evening. That's 2 hours, and it wasn't even 2 hours of full education. You're still talking. You're not even educating the kids. And this is happening over and over. This is repeated, guys, and replicated. This is what our party and what we stand for. We stand for responsible law enforcement. We stand for our law enforcement being trained the proper way so our towns and communities aren't getting sued. We stand for proper criminal justice and not arresting people or taking their property through civil asset forfeiture, their vehicles, their homes, because of a victimless crime. Victimless crime should be gone. People aren't educated on this stuff, and we don't stand together. And if we did unite and unify, and rather than say, hey, somebody else has this, we say, no, I got this. And not only do I got this, but together, or I'm going to go find another person or another two people that are going to help me. And then together we got this. And then, as a larger collective and family, we have it. And it's that easy to accomplish. If 3 people can do what they're doing, imagine what 30 people would do. Imagine what 300 people would do. We would take back every seat. We would be able to vet. Now, are there personality clashes? Absolutely there are. There's always going to be that stuff. But it's about trying to overcome them and manage them. What ends up happening is there's always plants, and this gets back to the tactics of what the left utilize. They will try to undermine every group and organization by creating doubt and dissent. That's what they do. They'll try to create strife and conflict. That's why they try to get into these groups. That's what the narratives that they try to push. They create that doubt and that dissent. And then it creates strife. And then people start engaging in personal issues when you shouldn't. Focus on the larger goal and objective. Put aside your ego. Remain humble. Remain that researcher that if you hear an accusation of somebody, be willing to step back and say, I don't want to be irresponsible and selfish with my reaction here. I want to be able to be tactful and measured with what I do and how I approach this and how I communicate with this person. And when we act and behave responsibly, we can build these things, guys. And we can do great things and we can accomplish great things. I want to play a little something here. This was sent to me by Mary Beth.
Rabbi, I'll ask, let me make comment and let us Dr. Zucker. I don't disagree with you. And look, I'm 100% frank and candid. This is not a highly nuanced, sophisticated response. This being written by a scalpel. This is a policy being cut by a hatchet. It's just a very blunt. I didn't propose this, It was proposed by the mayor in the city. I'm trying to sharpen it and make it better, but it's out of fear. People see the numbers going up. Close everything. Close everything. It's not the best way to do it, but it is a fear-driven response. The virus scares people. Hopefully, we get the numbers down in the zip codes, the anxiety comes down, and then we can have a smarter, more tailored approach. Your point is right. Why close every school? Why don't you test the schools and close the ones that have a problem? I know, but first, I don't know that we have the resources to do that now, but I can tell you honestly, the fear is too high to do anything other than let's do everything we can to get the infection rate down now, close the doors, close the windows. That's where we are. Commissioner, do you want to add something?
I think that's exactly the point.
You guys recognize that voice? Know who was saying all that? That's the governor, Cuomo. So fear-based response. It's not fact-driven. It's fear-driven response, not science, not his idea. Oh, so the same guy that has been out every single day in front of the cameras telling people how bad this virus is in spite of the numbers, how debilitating and murderous this virus is. He's the one making the decisions, telling everybody he is the one making the decisions. It's in every video. It's in every live. Telling his inner circle that he is the one making the decisions. He is calling the shots. All of a sudden, it's not him. It's based on his constituents. It's based on New Yorkers who are insisting that things be shut down. So he is making a decision based upon their insistence of the citizenry saying things be shut down. He didn't cause the fear by coming out every day and telling you, be scared, be scared, be scared. He didn't cause the fear by telling Poloncarz and Byron Brown and every other Erie County executive and every other Department of Health head in every county. He wasn't the one that did that. He wasn't the one that is telling people that if one person dies in your city or your town or because your business is open, we're going to charge you. He's not the one that said that. To every single person that sat there and heard him say that, either Zucker told him or Bernstein told him or, Cuomo told him directly, that if one person dies, it's going to be on your head. He wasn't there in front of everybody telling them that if we save one person because of these lockdowns, he's not the one making the executive orders, all of the executive orders. It's not Cuomo that's done that. It's the people. It's the people that are afraid and anxious and scared of the virus. They're the ones that are fact and science driven. They're the ones that are using the blunt end of the hatchet, not him. That level of insanity, the man, it's pathological. He's a sociopath. He's a psychopath. He writes the book saying his response was incredible. He had the highest numbers in the entire world because of what he did. He went against everything. He was a part of the leftist, Marxist, communist takeover and ideology. And because he is facing war crimes now, because there is a community of attorneys globally assembling and looking into how to charge everybody like Cuomo for the crimes that they committed, the treason that they committed as war crimes, now it's not him. He did it to spare and save everybody. So, everybody was like, I'm a Cuomo-sexual, right? You got all these people, these pundits, these talking heads. I'm a Cuomo-sexual. Yeah, we love the fact that he's so tyrannical. We need a dictator like him. How many of these idiots, sorry for using that word, guys, how many of these people said that? We're a Cuomo-sexual, right? We love that guy. We love every decision he's making. He's eating it up, right? Eating it up. That's my decision. I call the shots. He's on video saying that. But now it's not him. Now it's everybody else. And he's just trying to save everybody because he's got such a good heart. You've got to be kidding me. If you guys haven't seen that, it's on Twitter. I'll show you guys. Mark Molinaro, he posted that. I'll show you guys. It's in reverse. But go search that out. Take a screenshot. If you can read in reverse, then go find that, listen to it, share it. I'm going to figure out how I can share it on my page. It's insane. The guy even said a month ago, this isn't about science. I don't care about the science. At the very beginning, it was all about the science. And then when the science doesn't support, corroborate his positions on lockdowns, the 15-day lockdown, then all of a sudden, it's everybody else's fault. The man is suffering from mental breakdowns. His inner circle know that. They have testified to that. There are individuals that witness it every single day. Every day. And they are, they know what state of mind he's in. They know how reckless he is, irrational and illogical at this point. He's not thinking straight. And yet here he is maintaining and continuing shutdowns and lockdowns for 19, 18 million people. And our children, our elderly. Still, we can't go to funerals en masse. Weddings are shut down. Businesses are operating at 10 to 20%, shut down multiple days. And the guy says it's a fear-based response. This is a precision and scalpel. Are you kidding me? You strategically and incrementally shut everything down. You started with, one business sector, then you went to the next, then you went to the next, then you went to the next, then you went to the next. You got people used to it and accustomed to it. You put fear-mongering propaganda out every single day in radio, in television, local radio, local news networks, national news networks, every single day. On media, digital platforms, every single day, you're showing the numbers of how bad they are. You're still saying that this cycle, the narrative now is that it's going to get way worse. That it's still way down here, negligible, no new cases, dozens of treatments, we know what they are. Cures, dozens of cures, I should say, not treatments, but treatments and cures, preventatives as well. But it's going to be way worse. This time around, we're already in October, weather's already gotten colder. People are inside their homes. The reasons why you have spikes in the fall and in the winter is because people go inside. The filtration systems, the doors aren't opening as much. The viruses get to, whatever the hell the term is, they get to, oh God, I'm drawing a blank, but you know what they do. The viruses, they survive. And you're not cleaning everything. So you catch a cold. You're not washing your bedding. It's how you catch a virus. It's simple. But they have made it just like cancer, guys, where they've mystified it. So now viruses, where for centuries, we know what viruses are. We know they're out there. We know how to protect ourselves against them. But because you have a small percentage of people who are at risk, an infinitesimal amount, see, I got that word right. I'll remember that other word that I wanted to say. But anyways, it's such a low level of mortality, such a low level of people who are actually contracting it, that they want to convince you that the virus that we all know how to prevent, that we all know how to defend ourselves against, that all these preventatives and these drugs that are out there over the counter, but also by prescription, that we can stay at home and cure ourselves, or we're going to be fine even if we get it after a couple or a few days, as evidenced by science and the data and the research and the statistics. They want to mystify and complicate it and get everybody terrified of a virus, just like they do with cancer. Hey, cancer, you got to be terrified of it. And when you start doing your research, is cancer bad? Absolutely, cancer is bad. People die of cancer. Way more people die of cancer than have died of the flu every year, and of COVID, way more. But they complicate it because they don't want you to think that there are things that you can do with cancer to prevent, or even to cure yourself of it. And there are dozens of ways that you can handle cancer. So what they've done is they've elevated viruses are there to that same status of cancer, making everybody terrified of it, crippled by it. So much so that people are so willing to wear a mask that the mask manufacturers and OSHA and WHO, CDC, Surgeon General Jerome Adams, they have all said, NIH, they have said that wearing a mask for healthy people will not protect you. Don't wear a mask if you're healthy. It just people, I'm afraid of the virus. The virus will get through your mask. Mask manufacturers say that. OSHA says that. All say it. It will attach itself to the moisture that is being created inside the mask and make you more susceptible to infection, bacteria, virus. But they put the mask on their face. Give me a virus. Give me a virus. Give me a virus. Give me a vaccine. Give me a vaccine. Give me a vaccine. You have dozens of cures. You have dozens of treatments and preventatives. But give me a vaccine, give me a vaccine, give me a vaccine. It's the only way I'm going to be safe. You know, friends of mine, I'll be the first one. I don't give a shit. I'm taking that vaccination. Have you heard what's in the vaccine? I don't care. I'm going to take it. Do you know that there are dozens of... I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your conspiracy theories. Well, it's not conspiracy. It's science. You know, go into any hospital, talk to any doctor or nurse, and see how they're treating patients. It's not conspiracy. You know, it's just, it's insane. And I'm so glad that we're able to witness this, guys, because, you know, it shows how easily people can be influenced and persuaded and swayed into thinking like this. People who are normally rationally, logically thinking people. And we all have those people in our lives, right? We have those friends and family members in our lives that have just lost their minds. Completely lost their minds, and they will not listen to you. And if you say anything, oh, it's just for Trump. You know, Trump, you know, he's creating all these lies, and he's the one who's responsible for killing everybody. They just don't want to listen. They become completely unhinged and deranged and delusional, completely unreceptive to any type of information that might spare them residing in that hysteria, because that's what it is. It's hysteria. It's irrational hysteria. We've been protesting for months. I've been playing football for months. I've been in contact with tens of thousands of people. Nothing. I haven't even gotten sick. Knock on wood. With anything, knock on wood. The people that I know that I've come in contact with, nothing. They haven't contracted it. They're not carriers or what do they call it? Oh, God, I can't remember. Man, my brain is fried. I think 5G affected my brain last night. You know, when you have it but you don't know you have it. Somebody tell me what the hell that word is. But anyways, a carrier, they think that everybody's a carrier, that they've got it, that they're going to transmit it to them. It's just insane. And then Cuomo wants to say that fear that these people have is all on them. He has no accountability or culpability or responsibility in that at all. He's not. He had none of it, nothing to do with any of that. Those hundreds of press conferences that he has had from the very beginning that wasn't him. The things that he said, that wasn't him. He said what he was saying because the people told him to say that. We had a rally yesterday, and I'm going to say that it was disappointing, and the turnout. And the reason it was disappointing in the turnout was this. The turnout should have been hundreds and hundreds of people. My fear at the very beginning of this was that as this thing carried on, that new normal that they talk about was going to entrench itself. And people were going to be accustomed to it. People were going to become accustomed to wearing a mask. People were going to be accustomed to not going out. People were going to be accustomed to not being able to go to any type of function, have their kids play sports, have their kids go to school, attend funerals, attend weddings normally, truly normally, not be able to visit their elderly and elderly care facilities, not be able to go to funerals, not be able to go to church. Thank God for the Jewish community. I applaud the Jewish community because the Catholics didn't do anything. The Christians didn't do anything. Arabics, Muslims, Buddhists, they didn't do anything. Christians kept some of their churches open, and I applaud the Christians that kept their churches open. Muslims that kept their mosques open, I think that's what it is, right? I applaud them. I applaud everybody who kept their religious dwelling open for their congregation to come and practice and to assemble. I applaud everybody that did that. But the Jewish community coming out and doing what they did, burning whatever they were burning, and then doing a full-on push because they know this is a lie, because Cuomo came out. This wasn't Cuomo, though. This was his constituents. We are going to have to put down new lockdown measures, and churches are going to be the first to close. Why churches? Home Depot, Tops, Walmart, Targets, all open. No restrictions, no capacity limits. You wear a mask and you're automatically safe. Automatically safe if you go into those places, but you're not automatically safe if you wear a mask inside a church. If you're wearing a mask inside a church, and referring back to my ex-girlfriend, literally said that and agreed with that with no logic at all, said that churches are the worst place to be. Why? Give me some science on that. Well, because you sing and you project, and are you kidding me? Like, seriously? This is literally how they think. This is the lie that they've all been sold. And I applaud the Jewish community for doing what they did down in New York City. Hopefully that starts to turn things around, guys. Hopefully it starts to make us be open. Everything to be open. But if we don't act locally here and on a state level with getting those people elected into office that we vet and that we trust, I don't even know how these changes are going to occur, guys. I really don't. Because the politicians that are there right now, they're content to just sit and let this ride out indefinitely, perpetually. Flu virus kills, up to 140,000 a year, every year. Are we going to have everything shut down for that? This killed 200,000. This didn't even kill 200,000. Most of it was comorbidity. Of those, CDC said 9,000 people is all that it killed. On their own website, 9,000 people was all that COVID killed. The rest were comorbidity and couldn't be attributed directly to COVID alone and solely. Facts. But yet, they are escalating and intensifying lockdown measures. Canada, I'll probably read that tomorrow. I'll go through it. But Canada, frightening, guys. In Ontario, in their body of representation, they had an individual stand up the documentation that they have, internment camps. They are contracting out. He had the paperwork. And this isn't conspiracy, guys. He had the documentation, the RFP, for building internment camps. And it never specified that it was for COVID, people who were testing positive for COVID. It said that it would be a broad range of people that could go into these internment camps. And I'll read that to you guys tomorrow. I'm not going to read it now because I've already been on too long. But guys, internment camps in Canada, is it legit or not? I can't say. I don't want to say if it's legit or not. I know I have heard that here in the U.S. about internment camps. We all have. And utilizing Walmarts as internment camps, and the reasons why. Because just like you have in stores right now, people shaming people who don't wear masks, the assaults that are happening, the murders that are happening because of it, the constant berating and intimidation. And, you go into a doctor's office, and what do these medical professionals tell you? You got to wear a mask. They don't hear anything. Got to wear a mask. They have divided us along those lines, that if you can think clearly and know that masks don't work, that they're going to vilify and villainize you and come after you with everything that they've got and tell you you're a bad person and shame you. So where does that go next? Does that extend to vaccinations? You better believe it. You better believe it extends to vaccinations. If you're not going to get your family vaccinated for COVID, it's going to extend to that. And then what it's going to extend to is, if you don't, and what this thing talked about was the universal income that they've got. If you're still running your business, you're a bad person. If you're a small business owner and you're still operating your business, they're going to convince people that you're a bad person. They have convinced people that if you have a small business that you're a danger and a hazard. They have done that. We've heard estimates that 60% of all small businesses and restaurants are shut down, never to open again. They convinced you that small business owners were a hazard and a danger to health. All while you went to the supermarket, all the while you went to Target and Walmart and Home Depot and Lowe's and every other place that you went to, that was fine. But you couldn't go to that small business because they were the danger. Pete, they're not going to convince us of that. They're not. They already did. They already have. It's already happened. And the people who have managed to scrimp and claw and do whatever they can to survive, do you think that New York State gives a shit about them? Do you think Poland Cars gives a shit? Do you think that Byron Brown or the town supervisors that are still putting out tax bills to these businesses that have been shut down because they have to pay employees that have been sitting around doing nothing, law enforcement that have been sitting inside their buildings every day, shift after shift after shift, doing nothing, court employees doing nothing, Parks Department employees doing nothing, highway departments doing nothing, because they have to pay them, and then you have to pay the state employees, of course, health department employees, county employees, you have to pay them. So they're not telling people, we know you were shut down, we know you were not able to do business, we know you're operating at 20%, but oh, hey, here's your tax bill. You got to pay us the full amount. Otherwise, we're going to take your building. And we're going to make you seem like the bad person, and people aren't going to buy into it. Because you were a bad person, you didn't pay your bills because your business was shut down and you couldn't have anybody in your business. Or if you did have somebody in your business, Cuomo and Poland Cars and Byron Brown, you see something, say something, you see somebody collecting at a business, so that was your fault. That was your fault that you had a small business and you tried to get, so they vilified you that way. And then they got the health department to come after you. They threatened you with fines, but that was your fault. It was your fault that you have a small business or a restaurant or a bar and you opened it up, or a gym or a massage therapist or a doctor's office. It's your fault that you have that small business. And then when you do finally open up, if you don't abide by all the rules, well, what are the rules? We don't know the rules. We'll get back to you. But we're here. We're going to fine you because we don't know the rules, but we know you broke this rule that we don't know what it is. You're a bad person for not knowing the rules that we couldn't inform you of. And that change every day. And when you think I'm being ridiculous with these statement guys, I'm not. This is what is happening to people every single day. I talk to the business owners. I talk to the restaurant owners. They don't know what the rules are. And it's just another way to vilify them. They literally have, because Poland Cars and Cuomo and Byron Brown and town supervisors and health department officials have said, see something, say something. They literally have spies and narcs and snitches that go by their businesses every single day. They look inside the windows every single day. How would you like to operate business like that? You feel like a criminal. This happens every day in communities all across this county, to business owners all across this county. And when you think that they're not going to crush business, they are. They already have. And guys, be very leery. You know, I hate to conflate things. I like to try to be factual and evidentiary with things. But here's some evidence, and here's some reality. Go to Home Depot. Go to Lowe's. Take a look at what the price are for things. In the past 2 weeks, the cost on those goods and materials has gone up 300% on some things. The entire course of the summer, you could not get building supplies. The entire course of the summer and spring and now the fall, if you order things on Amazon, they're not coming in. They are now moving on to the next level, supply chain. And we heard those videos, guys, that YouTube is burying. We listened to those farmers. They were telling us they're making us throw all these eggs out. They're making us kill all this livestock. They're making us do that. 2x4 is selling for $8. $3 is the most, a little bit more than $3, maybe $4 is all you've ever really seen in it. Usually hovers between $2 and $3. You can't get some building materials. You haven't been able to get them all spring and summer. I don't want to be this fearmonger, guys, but why I'm saying this is this election is critical. You have 18 days to do something, 19 days, whatever amount of time is left, guys. You need to do something. At least research the candidates. It's easy. We have Google. Go look at go look at those candidates. We were supposed to have it on freenys.com. Unfortunately, we don't. Review those candidates. There are websites that you can just look for. Research political candidates 2020, New York, Erie County. You can do that. They've got different pages for that. At least research the candidates. Then get information to your friends, like-minded friends. Share it on your Facebook pages. Get that information out about these local candidates that are looking to achieve office. Talk about them on your pages, guys. Frank Smearzak and God, I'm drawing a blank. Man, that 5G really got my brain last night. I fell asleep listening to a video and then it fell underneath me. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just using it. I just may not have had my blueberry juice. Whatever. Shut up. I'll remember this stuff afterwards when I'm done and I'm eating breakfast. But that's the next thing that you can do. The next level that you can do, reach out to me, guys, and ask me, what can I do? I will put you in contact with the people that are handling elections and phone calls. If we all do something, we can start to avoid. We can begin the process of avoiding what's happening. We can begin taking back our freedoms. But if we don't change these elected positions, just like people not showing up to that rally yesterday, if you don't show up to vote, what ends up happening is on all of us, guys. It's on all of us. We all have skill sets to do this. It's just a matter of priority. It's just a matter of desire and want. If you make it a priority in your life to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to help in any way that I can, we can make a difference. If you say, I don't have the time, if every one of us said we don't have the time, it's not going to happen. So the rally that we had yesterday, disappointing in the turnout, not going to lie. However, the good part about it was, and that what Russ Thompson and Nancy Orticelli are masterful on, they did get the media to show up, which was a bonus. Would it have been better to have hundreds of cars around locking everything down and hundreds of protesters in the Niagara Square? It would have been. That would have been awesome. But at least our voices were heard. And to every single person, and I could go through the names, but I'm not, to every single person that was there, all of the protesters there, all of the people that were driving around, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you. And to, 247, Spectrum News, the digital online sources that were there, thank you to them. Thank you to Russ Thompson. Thank you to Constitutional Coalition. Thank you to Freedom Fighters. Thank you to Rally WNY. Thank you, Diana Thorne. Thank you to everybody that was a part of showing up and getting people to show up, promoting that, and getting the media to show up. Because at least in this one, the media was there to show us to the community. And hopefully I don't watch that stuff, but hopefully they represented us in an accurate way. In a way that was telling of what's going on with the sentiment in the community. Because I think most of the community is fed up. Even though they're willing to accept it. You go into that store, you wear that mask, because you don't want to be harassed. The same reason why you're accepting the lockdowns. I was on a long time today, but I had a lot of information to share, guys. I just want to remind you, Breathe Free New York event. We got a restaurant, Heather Lorenzo, amazing. I thank her so much for the hard work and effort that she's putting in to the group. She's already got one restaurant for this week. She's setting up the restaurant for the next week. I'm going to give you that information tomorrow because I'm going to get off now. Once I get all familiarized with it and I have a chance to talk with her, I'll get you guys that. But what I do know, guys, Southgate Plaza, please show up. Southgate Plaza, Union Road, West Seneca, 3 p.m. this Saturday, Marching Patriots Parade. It's going to be a mobile parade, so if you guys have your trucks and you can't walk, put your American flags on them, Trump flags, any patriotic flags. Do not bring the Confederate flag, guys. We'll ask you to take it down. We agree with it. We agree with your right to free speech, but media and local politicians and local neighbors will portray it and construe it as we are white supremacists. Invite every ethnicity you know, guys. If they are patriotic, have them show up and march with us. If you have a group, guys, whatever your group is, I don't care what it is. If it's Buffalonians Against Excessive Quarantine, if it's Keep Kids Safe, if it's Restore Constitutional Freedom, Constitutional Coalition, show up and show up with your membership, guys. Get this message shared to every single group that you're a part of, that we're having this big parade in West Seneca, this patriotic parade. Let's fill West Seneca. Invite your entire groups, invite military groups, invite your military friends, your military veterans, your current military, law enforcement, same thing. Invite everybody. And guys, if you have a group, make sure you come operate outside the back of your truck, because we're not going to be able to set up tents. You're not going to be able to set up tents, and you're not going to be able to set up tables. But operate outside the back of your trucks, all right? And in the back of your trucks, what you need to do is bring your information and bring your materials so that you can hand out and disseminate that information. With your business cards, with your postcards, so that people can join your groups. And from now on, at every rally, you guys should be doing that. Get your membership to come out. Notify them of what's going on. Have them come out, and then we can share all of this information. We can share the political information. But we got to do it out of the back of vehicles. You can't do it with a table or a tent, all right? I have a great day today, guys. It was a long one, but there was a lot of information to cover. Share that Como thing. I'm going to do my best to try to see what I can do to share that on my page and every other group page. Share that. That needs to be exposed. Enjoy your day, guys. Love you. Take care. If anything happens, of course, I'll get on. And if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you.